Dirty Birds fans, we are cooking now. I believe Atlanta Falcons fans just got the very best news yet of the entire 2025 season. Actually, kind of a double dose of great news. One on the offensive side of the ball, one on the defensive side of the ball. Welcome in, Falcons fans, to Falcons Today by Chat Sports. My name is Moose. We've got two players to talk about that have some high praise and some great accolades. Bijan Robinson and, of course, Xavier Watts. Bijan Robinson winning NFC Offensive Player of the Month, and Xavier Watts winning NFL Rookie of the Month on the defensive side of the ball. Now, I'm going to break down exactly how I feel about these two, and trust me when I say this, it is the chef's kiss, specifically for one guy that I was incredibly high on during this last draft. I think you can figure out who that is. Now, before I get to that, I have to tell you about our sub-rankings. I can't believe Aints Now is still beating us. They are 10,000 subscribers ahead of us. And the Commanders Report, who we just beat last week on the football field, they're also ahead of us. So if you could help me out and you love what we do here, you love free Falcons content all season long, hit that subscribe button right now. All right, let's talk Mr. Watts, Mr. Xavier Watts from Cheer, Cheer for Old Notre Dame. Look, I'm not going to be the one that sits here and tells you I told you so. That's not what we do on this channel. However, 3 months ago, before I started hosting this channel, I had made the proclamation in the Chat Sports office, on the internet, on everywhere that I could say it. Xavier Watts was going to be an absolute home run. Not just because he went to my favorite school, but because of what he was and who he was as a player. And thank God he's starting to get some flowers from other reputable characters in the NFL. Here's what Dane Brugler had to say about Watts' play since he's entered the NFL. Hard to believe, I know, but the player who made a habit of taking the ball away in college, 13 combined interceptions over his final 2 years at Notre Dame, is the only rookie with multiple interceptions in 2025. Shocking. Watts leads all first-year safeties in both passes defended, 4, and interceptions, 2, and he has shown the same field vision and range that he put on the college tape. Because of that college production, many in the league expected Watts to be drafted within the first 2 rounds, so he was a gift for the Falcons late in round 3. Through 4 weeks, Watts is on a short list of NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year candidates. Oh, wait a minute. It's almost like I said. This kid was a first-round talent, and the fact that he fell to round 3 and picked up by the Falcons was nothing short of an absolute gift-wrapped present right in your lap with a nice little bow on top. I don't know how else to explain it, because Xavier Watts is an absolute dog. And one that I said during the preseason that he needed to get better at was his coverage grade. Well, look at that. It's a 72.2, which is really, really good if you know anything about PFF grades. So 23 tackles, 2 interceptions, 4 pass breakups. I mean, the guy is just an absolute stud. Dane Brugler goes on to say, the Falcons secondary has been notably better under defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich this season. Plus, head coach Raheem Morris's background as a former defensive back and DBs coach has helped these young players with confidence early on. So here is where I'm going to give Raheem Morris his flowers. You guys know how critical I am of Raheem Morris. There's a lot of things that I don't like about the Falcons head coach. I will give him 100% complete credit for this. He can identify defensive back talent, highlighted by not only this last draft class, but how good this Falcons secondary looks not only on paper, but on the field as well. When we get A.J. Terrell back, we are looking at one of the best secondaries in the NFL. Yes, I'm staking my claim there. And producer Colin, there is actually a List 5 logo of top defenses in the NFL, passing defenses for through 4 weeks that highlights exactly what I'm talking about, where it has the Falcons ranked second. There it is. Perfect. Beautiful find right there. Here are the top 5 passing defenses in the NFL so far. Believe it or not, the team that we play coming up on Monday Night Football in Week 6 is right ahead of us at 125.8 yards per game. But the Falcons, not much further down at 135 passing yards allowed per game. It proves Raheem Morris has done his homework, has done his due diligence, and has coached the hell out of this Falcons secondary. And if you remember, you're a Falcons fan, I'm a Falcons fan. We know how bad this secondary has been in years past. So the fact that it has gone from one of the worst to one of the best in the league is nothing short of coaching brilliance on Raheem Morris's part. And like I said, I'm still very critical of a lot of things that Raheem Morris does. He's got to get better at game management. He's got to get better at the mic. I could go on and on. This is one area that he absolutely has hit a home run with. I almost said struck out, but that would be the complete opposite. So do me a favor. If you love Xavier Watts, let's round it back to him real quick. Type Watts down in the comment section down below. It shows me that you not only love our draft pick, but you love the 2025 draft class as well, alongside Billy Bowman, James Pierce Jr., and, of course, Jalen Walker. Now, coming up, let's talk Bijan, baby. Because if it weren't for Bijan, there wouldn't be a Falcons identity on offense, because right now he is your identity. And we're going to talk a little bit about what the Falcons can do in order to make Bijan become not only the offensive player of the year, but an MVP candidate. Now, before I do that, I got to tell you about our friends over at Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every single day, but on Prize Picks, being right can actually get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it is good to be right. Prize Picks is the only app that offers stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. Want to pick more on Josh Allen's passing yards, rushing yards, and touchdowns? Now you can pick all of those in the exact same lineup, only on Prize Picks. I do have a lineup, Mr. Producer Colin, in the photo section. If you want to take a look at it, there it is, beautiful. Dansby Swanson with the more on the hits for the Chicago Cubbies. Of course, Dak Prescott more on the passing yards against the New York Jets. And then, of course, Jalen Hurts on the less passing yards against the Denver Broncos and that stout defense. Your lineup can look like mine. It doesn't have to. All you got to do is download the Prize Picks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It is good to be right. Let's talk Bijan. Like I said, he's on a short list of the most talented football players in the entire NFL at any position. I don't think it gets as talented as Bijan is. The stats don't do it justice. This guy is an absolute monster, period. And if play calling had been better in some other games, if there was more of an emphasis on running the ball against certain opponents, who knows what his numbers would look like. We do know this. Amongst the NFL, he still tops. Rushing yards, 5th. Scrimmage yards, 1st. Scrimmage yards per game, correlation, obviously, but that's also 1st. Bijan is outstanding. And the only area that I think you could even criticize right now in Bijan's statistical category is his ability to find the end zone. Well, let's be completely honest. It's not because of Bijan. It's because the Falcons have been awful in the red zone. Whenever the Falcons get in the red zone in 2025, their red zone efficiency, meaning how many times they find the end zone every time they enter an opponent's 20-yard line, is 46.1% in 2025. That's terrible. It's got to get better. It's got to get cleaner. And I think it's also important to note that when teams go under center, the threat of having a much more powerful running attack, a.k.a. what Detroit does really well with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, is having someone that can go under center. Well, did you know that Sharp Analytics indicates the Falcons only go under center 6.4% of plays? That's almost dead last in the NFL. Excuse me. So let me ask you this. If you've got this shotgun, pistol, whatever you want to call it, style of formation that is indicative of making sure that every single play is perfectly blocked, instead of having multiple tight end sets going under center and power running on wide zone scheme runs, don't you think that there'd be a little bit more success for Bijan if they were to go under center even 5% more of the time? I think the answer is obviously yes. But the fact that Bijan has these numbers in this college-style offense that Zach Robinson is running indicates to me that his talent is outweighing the incompetency of certain play-calling designs. That's where we're at. How does he stack up against some of the best in the league? Well, there's Saquon. And if you look at that, I know it's kind of hard to see, but right there you get those little green hues. That indicates where one area or one player is better than the other. Bijan, tons more green in 2025 than Saquon. How about Jahmyr Gibbs, who's climbing the ranks as one of the best in the NFL? Bijan, not even close. Way better. So I'm saying right now that Bijan is playing like the best running back in the NFL. And the statistics, the pace of what he's projected to get in 2025 also indicates exactly what I'm talking about. Did you know he's on pace for 1,300 rushing yards and over 1,147 receiving yards? That would be damn near 2,500 yards from scrimmage. If that doesn't scream MVP to you, I don't know what does. So if you believe that Bijan could end up winning the most valuable player in 2025, hit that thumbs up icon. I should see at least 500 thumbs up from all the Dirty Birds fans that love this guy right here. Because I'm telling you right now, just wait for the remainder of the season. I can guarantee you this guy shows up and shows out every week. That's going to do it for us on today's episode of Falcons Today by Chat Sports. A reminder to subscribe to the channel. We're trying to catch up to Aints now. Like the video, and as always, be cool.